Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. Yes, it's the weekend and there are lots of actions. We saw action throughout this week, and then the weekend is here. International break is over and there are lots of games that would be coming up this weekend. Well, as always, we'll be starting from the home front, and today we are going all the way down to the grassroots, where we'll be witnessing around 15,000 athletes who would be competing in the sport festival that has been forwarded or postponed to January next year in Ogun State. Olubade, who was recently appointed as the Director General of the National Sports Commission, disclosed this on while talking to newsmen after a closed-door meeting with the Governor, Dapo Abiodun, and the Chief Executive Officers of Premium Trust Bank, and then other stakeholders as well. This happened in Abeokuta, where they had several deep-depth conversation. Olubade said the LOCSI was working towards creating an Olympic standard game village that would accommodate all athletes in one location, a development which he says has not happened before in the history of the sport festival. So looking at how key, let's look at the trajectory of what these sport festivals have done to athleticism in Nigeria, and then the talents that we've witnessed, and then most of the athletes that participated in the All African Games a little bit earlier this year, and as well as Paris 2024, were all products of all of these sports festivals. So seeing this magnitude of numbers coming out to participate, that means the future of athleticism in Nigeria is actually in good hands, given the fact that we saw the records that were set in January. Though in the Olympics we didn't get most of the results that we expected, but we still saw a few Nigerians clinching gold medals, silver, bronze medal from different categories. So all of these is just an avenue of what has been happening in the grassroots, and then having preparations like this for an event that will be coming up next year. Early planning is something that helps see Nigerians and then athletes enjoy the benefits of participating in sports like this. So with all of these plans coming to place, then we're hoping that it's going to be an exciting and a superb one, given the fact that the state government of Ogun State is fully involved, and then the Director General of the Sports Commission is also involved. So this is almost going to be one of the best, given the fact that this initiative of having all the athletes, around 15,000 of them in the same place, that means something spectacular is about to happen. A games village for them is probably going to be launched very soon, so as we could have, all of the athletes being in one place, well secured, well taken care of, well fed before they go and then take on their action and then compete against each other. Still talking about athletes, around 1,000 runners would be running for the maiden capital city race, which will be happening in Lagos tomorrow. Over 1,000 runners are set to participate in the maiden capital city race, a mini marathon scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday, in Lagos State, Ikeja, Lagos State, and then the 10-kilometer race organized by the Lagos State Sports Commission will commence at 7 a.m. from City Mall, Alausa, and then conclude at the Police College, Ikeja, GRA, with substantial prizes. Cash prize to be won by top performance. Winners in both male and female category will be receiving around 500,000, while the first runners-up will be getting 300,000 and second runner-up will be getting 200,000. Lagos State Sports Commission Director General Lekon Fatodun described the event as a brilliant initiative aimed at promoting healthy activity and healthy and active lifestyle among residents. So you mustn't be a super athlete to participate for this, but I'm sure the super athletes will actually be going. But if you are very fit and you could take on the money, 10-kilometer race, you come first, you have a cool 500,000 naira in cash going home with you. So do you have what it takes to run 10 kilometers straight and come out, emerge as the winner? If you have what it takes, you should find your way to Lagos right now and go, you know, partake in this sporting activity, which is also going to be very healthy for the body, for the mind, and, you know, generally. So sporting event is actually happening. So it's open for everybody, general public, residents, and professional athletes. All of this is just to help maintain a very good, healthy lifestyle, and then, you know, have the work-life balance thing in order. Still moving on, then now we are going to have a little bit of conversation around what's going on in the Super Eagles. You know, Eagles, someone says, a former strike defender, yes, Daniel Ilosi, says that the Super Eagles lack character. Even if Mourinho can't get appointed as a head coach, he wouldn't be able to save them. Former Super Eagles and Al-Hatid defender Chikelu Olozi has questioned the characters and passion of Nigerian senior men's national football team, insisting that hiring a Portuguese coach will not even save the team. Olozi made a statement in an interview where he said the Eagles' recent disappointing performance during the last phase of the 2025 African Cup of All Nations qualifier, while the three-times African champion had already sealed qualification to the AFCON 2025 tournament in Morocco, and we are not under pressure to perform. They remained under obligation to win their matches and finish the qualifiers very strong. You know, Nigerians have actually argued and said that they are actually not very, very excited or happy with the way the Super Eagles played because of one singular fact. Rwanda, these guys have not been beaten by the Super Eagles for the past 12 years. This was an opportunity, over a decade, this was an opportunity for the Super Eagles to put, you know, to break that spell, given the fact that they've been playing for the past 12 decades, they've not been able to win Rwanda. So this was an opportunity for them to win, but still, given the fact that they've qualified, then, you know, they considered 2 goals in 2 minutes, which is something that is super disappointing, and a whole lot of football fans and sport analysts rather have reacted differently to it, given the fact that, okay, this is something that is supposed to have happened, but now it's not happening. Okay, some persons are happy, yes, we qualified, but some are like, okay, still we are supposed to finish strong. And this is what Chikelu is saying, and I agree with Chikelu on that, because we can have opportunities to, you know, go down in the memory or history that things like this happen, like, okay, qualifying, despite qualifying, but qualifying with flying colors. Now we were up with around 14 points, then we now went back to 11 points, which is actually good, but still there were some things that needed to be done, like beating and then breaking that spell of not being able to beat Rwanda for over a decade. That's something that would have been done. I know in the course of the program I have a guest who will be joining me, and we'll still be looking at these angles of the conversation. But while we'll await, let's have a conversation around Victor Osimhen and Galatasaray. You know, just this past weekend there were reports saying that Galatasaray has been able to find, you know, sponsors who can help them land Victor Osimhen at Galatasaray. But now they are saying they have the money. At some point they said they don't have the money. Now they are coming out to say they have the money. I don't know. There are other teams that are actually looking out for Victor Osimhen, but now it's given that fact, now I think Galatasaray, they are beginning to rethink. But let me bring you up to speed with what the Deputy President Abdul had to say. He stated that the club has the power to sign Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen or any other player they are interested in. Nigerian hitman Victor Osimhen has quickly become the poster boy for Galatasaray since this season's long loan transfer from Napoli. The 25-year-old striker was alternated from Napoli's squad, but he has quickly made Galatasaray his home, and he has also said that he's happy at Galatasaray. Still on the same issue, he had produced 8 goals and 4 assists in 9 appearances for the reigning Turkish champions, and due to his brilliance, they have even been talking that the club wants to sign him permanently. However, the problem has been the price. There have been talks that Galatasaray wants to offer Napoli 50 million euros for Victor Osimhen, but the deal could not be financially it could be a financial nightmare rather for the club, as they do not have the financial muscle to carry both Victor Osimhen's fee and salary. So you see, that is another concern. But now, all of this statement now is coming because of the fact that Fenerbahce, and you know, Mourinho is someone that knows how to use black and strong players. So now, Mourinho is actually looking, and then Fenerbahce are making moves to get him. Chelsea making moves. Manchester United made the move, but now they seeming as if they are coming back to, you know, make the same move again to see if they can land Victor Osimhen. PSG still there, lagging, and they're looking to see if they can still land him. So with all of these teams now going for Victor Osimhen, automatically his fee has been high, and then he's not even going to accept anything less to even start with. So Galatasaray now is looking at the fact that, okay, they want to clinch and then have him back here, so as other teams that are looking to get him will not get him. But Victor Osimhen have reiterated that he is happy and the fans love him. Automatically he has gotten into the mix and he is super excited of being with the team Galatasaray. So he's happy. Let's see what happens. If, you know, Galatasaray gets to pay him what he's worth, then I think he's going to remain there. But if he doesn't, I think he's going to move in somewhere, because this is his time, and I don't think Victor Osimhen would want to do anything, you know, less, accept any figure that is less than what he deserves. So moving away from that and still talking about transfers and then teams eyeing players, still talking about one of the best players in the Super Eagles, talking about Samuel Chukwueze, who is currently playing his football professionally at AC Milan. But now, Besiktas have been eyeing him. The Turkish giant Besiktas, JK, have reportedly placed AC Milan forward Samuel Chukwueze on their transfer radar. The Nigerian winger played a key role for Oxlade Guaravol's side in their final match of the 2025 African Cup of Nation qualifiers, scoring the first goal for the Super Eagles. However, his joy was short-lived as Rwanda came back from behind to secure a 2-1 victory over Nigeria. Nigerian football match tickets, according to reports from the Fortman Biscuits, are preparing to make an official offer for Chukwueze, who has yet make a significant impact at Milan. Despite his talent and potential, the 24-year-old has struggled for consistency in the Serie A. Chukwueze, who is also a close friend and an international teammate of Napoli's Victor Osimhen, currently on loan at Galatasaray, has a long being admired for his attacking flair and pace on the wing. So he has pace, and we saw what that pace contributed for the Super Eagles and what it contributed for, what it has been contributing rather for AC Milan. He has scored a few goals this season, but he hasn't, you know, been on fire like Ademola Lookman. He hasn't been on fire like Victor Boniface. Talking about Victor Boniface, Victor Boniface finds it very hard to perform for the Super Eagles whenever he's around, but he's always on fire for Bayern Leverkusen. Now, people are asking questions. Is Boniface one of those players that don't really give his all for his country and then gives his all for his club side? People are asking those questions, and well, from what we are seeing, I think he has not been able to like fit in properly with the squad. I think that's why he has not been able to like start scoring goals, because he tends to make a lot of wrong decisions, when he's attacking. Some ball passes that he will want to just drop. Instead of dropping, he's going to play short and then not facing the goalpost and not having his body aligned with where the ball wants to go to. Most of the times it gets over the bar or gets all the way wide. But looking at this angle now about Samuel Chukwueze and his performance so far with AC Milan, I think he is still a work in progress, which if he settles more, he would be able to also get onto the winning ways and then get into that firepower to be performing like every other player on the team. So looking at all of those angles now, well, when the offer is made, we would know if he would accept it or if AC Milan would even want him to leave at this point. But looking at the way he performed as at last season, Samuel Chukwueze was superb, scoring around 12 goals for AC Milan and then creating around 5 assists as well. So that showed one of the reasons why he's still on the team, and I'm sure he would be able to find his fitting. Maybe stress, because players have been complaining, even fans are complaining about the fact that the schedule of these players are really, really tight, and then maybe fatigue also is also playing a massive role in terms of the players' performance. So looking at those angles now, maybe these are one of the reasons why he have not been able to start performing properly. But before we move on to the international scene, where Pep Guardiola reveals what really made him change his mind to sign new deals with Manchester City, we will talk about that, and after this break, please do stay with us.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Many thanks for staying with us. If you just joined, this is Talk Sports, and we are moving on to the international scene now, where Pep Guardiola reveals what recently made him change his mind, or rather convinced him to sign new deal. That's a 2-year deal. Manchester United fans, rather Manchester City fans, are super excited, while other people in England are really not happy, because having him back is something that is very, very superb. Talking about Pep Guardiola, Pep Guardiola admitted that he had planned for his season to be his last at Manchester City, but refused to let the club down after a run of 4 consecutive defeats. 6 times Premier League winner Guardiola gave City a major boost on Thursday night by pinning a 2-year extension, which will take his reign to over a decade. Guardiola confirmed these reports, and then the story from what we may expect that the next summer may be suggested that the decisive play of the commitment was required during City's tricky run of runoff from the send a message, from the send of a message. So why, the main reason why he actually signed is because of the fact that he hasn't been able to, clinch the Champions League with them. So consecutive 4-time defeat. So now he wants to settle that. But now the Champions League is totally different, and now you can't even know who you'll be playing next because of the way that it has been arranged, because it's now a league format which is very, very more, taxing and more difficult and more demanding. So it's just a whole lot, because looking at the past defeats that they've suffered, losing to Bournemouth, losing to other small teams in the Champions League. So this 4 defeats now is something that we know he wouldn't take lightly. So now I just have a concern for the team that they'll be playing this weekend in the Premier League, because given the fact that he is saying because of these 4 defeats that it's not going to be good to leave with that record. So now I'm certain he's gone in to get another trophy, maybe the 7th trophy, or no, rather 6th trophy in a row for Manchester City, and then see if he can also clinch the Champions League and then rewrite the wrongs of those last 4 losses that him and Manchester City suffered. So we're just hoping to see what that turns out, but it's just interesting the level of momentum, or the level of energy that is going to be in the dressing room, and how he's just going to talk and then motivate these players to be able to go play, and then game plans that he will be initiating to help him win. So these are massive things, or massive angles that he looked at and then said, no, it's better I stay and correct this wrong, or before I move on. So talking about coaches now, so we'll be moving to Manchester United, where the Chiefs locked a blame over Erik ten Hag's summer shambles. Looking at those now, he has left, but still the management of Manchester United is actually not even letting Erik ten Hag rest at this point. Manchester United officials are reportedly wrapped up in a blame game over their chaotic summer that saw Erik ten Hag handed a new deal and then backed in the transfer market before being sacked a few months later. United endured a difficult 2023-2024 campaign with their 8th place finish, the club's lowest in the Premier League era, while they also crashed out of the Champions League in the group stage. There was significant speculation over ten Hag's future in the summer, until Sir Jimmy Ratcliffe and the Ineos-led footballing structure decided to stick with Dutchman and triggered a contract extension. So they triggered a contract extension now, and then gave him specifics, right? Gave him, targets to meet. Basically, that's the word. You need to beat Manchester City in the finals of the FA Cup. For that to happen, if that does happen, then you would have your job back. So Mr. Erik ten Hag did what he could, and then luckily he was able to beat the almighty Manchester City, and then won the FA Cup previously. This just concluded 2023-2024 season, which now made him became the coach. Fast forward the 2024, now 2025 season, Manchester United started off on a good run, winning their first 2 matches, winning their first match, and then drawing the second, and then drawing the third, then lost 4th, lost 5th, and then I think won the 6th before he now got fired. Now they got Van Nistelrooy, who was supposed to be an assistant coach for the attacking force, because at some point it was said that the attackers of Manchester City are actually the problem, because Kobe Manu and Fernandes, all of them are doing their job, and then Casemiro, all of them are doing their job, despite the fact that there's an Onana problem, but the others are doing their job. So they brought someone who was going to help be the coach. But fast forward, somehow he got fired, and then Van Nistelrooy took over the job. So taking over the job, played 3 matches, won 1, drew 1, and then lost 1. So looking at those things now, before they brought in, before we got to the stage of Ruben Amorim, who was the former Sporting coach, he now made mention of the fact that he wouldn't be able to be under the same roof with Van Nistelrooy. That's speaking about Amorim. Then now Van Nistelrooy gets fired. Ruben now takes full charge. So looking at these issues now of Erik ten Hag, and then the management of Manchester United, it has been said that the problem is not the coaching staff. Some have argued that there is the Sir Alex Ferguson influence over the coaches, trying to meet his record. But we all know how amazing Sir Alex Ferguson was as a Manchester United coach, and he is one of the coaches that said no player on his team would earn more than him. That was the only person that earned more than Cristiano Ronaldo in a team at the time. But talking about a legend like that having an influence over the team, he has always been a Manchester United fan, and he's always present at all Manchester United games. But looking at Sir Erik ten Hag now, who got fired, and then now the management are still putting it on him. I think then he had injury problems. He had injury problems during the 2023-2024 season, and then it was just Kobe Manu that was literally carrying the midfield, and then Fernandes wasn't at his best. Rashford was having attitude problem that made him not even to go play for the Three Lions in the Euros. So all of this attributed to most of the reasons, or one of the major reasons why he didn't get to, continue. But now I think it's not fair on the man that, given the fact that he has been fired, the management are still pouring out blames on him. When he got fired, he just took a flight straight to his father's house to just go relax, leaving his wife and kids in UK. So the man is probably going through a lot at this point. So we're hoping that the Manchester United will just let him rest. Manchester United fans will also let him rest. So we'll see what Ruben Amorim would do in his first match that will be coming up this weekend. Moving away from that, let's have another conversation around Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich transfer wars. There've been a loggerhead going on between these two teams over two players. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are often linked with the same superstar names as titans of the game, but rarely, if ever, they are locked in a transfer war for 5 separate players. This is the current situation, putting two all-time powerhouses of European football against each other, according to the report, in one of the biggest tugs of war in transfer history. Bayern and Real Madrid are perhaps at two different stages in their respective projects. Leos Borskos have just signed Kylian Mbappe and close to their Galatasaray goal in terms of the sheer star power of the Bernabeu, while Bayern are still arguably rebuilding under the new management, Vincent's company. No, rebuilding is actually what Bayern Munich are actually doing now, because they fought and then tried all what they could to get to the winning ways, but immediately after Ribery and Robben, Robben left Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich started declining, up to now. They struggle in their own league. They struggle in the Champions League. They even struggle to beat one of the lowest teams. They score goals, they concede goals, they score goals, they concede goals, and all of that. All of those things now made Bayern Munich, down, and then they didn't get to be the team that they are. But talking about transfer wars now, it's no longer news that Real Madrid and Bayern Munich always go for the same player. It happened with Ribery, it happened with Robben, it also happened with Lewandowski when he was there, it happened with Müller, it happened with many other players at Real Madrid, between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. But with all of this, most of the times Real Madrid gets to use the upper hand of having more influence and more money to just end up getting the player. So this is something that has been going on. But with this current one going after Davis Joshua and Folarin Wells, I think it's going to be a loggerhead. I don't think Vincent Company would want to lose those two qualities to Real Madrid at the same time. So talking about loans and transfers, still Ben Chilwell emerges as a loan target for the European giants after being frozen out at Chelsea by Enzo Maresca. Chelsea's defender Ben Chilwell is reportedly being targeted as a major European club in a shocker potential loan deal as he searches for a game time from away from Stamford Bridge. The 27-year-old has been frozen out by the Blues boss Enzo Maresca since his arrival in the summer, only managing 45 minutes in all competition this season. That one half of football came in the Copa America Carabao Cup third round against Brown, a game which Chelsea won 5-0, while he also has been left out of every single Premier League match this squad. Chilwell was replaced in the club's bomb squad over the summer after being deemed speculative of requirements by Maresca and his staffs, but failed to get a move away from the West London. Juventus could offer the Blues defender an escape route as they look to bring a reinforcement at the back after both Joan Cabral and Gripso Berner have been sidelined with serious knee injuries. So I don't know why Maresca is actually not using Ben Chilwell at this point, given the fact that he is a very, very good left back. But let's see how that happens. But before we talk about this, I think we'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we return back, we get right into this conversation to know how well he's going to fit in with Juventus. Stay with us.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momadou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momadou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers.
Yes, many thanks for staying with us. Now, remember, I rightly told you that there's someone joining me who would help us explain most of the talking points. He's actually here. His name is Coach Raphael, the head coach of Refined Nugget Football Academy, aka the celebrity coach. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program.
Pleasure to be here, my brother.
Yes, so now let's get into it. I know Osune Guava is your friend.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that him being your friend, right? Do you think the Super Eagles need a new coach? A foreign coach with the results that we've seen Osune Guava bringing up?
Sincerely speaking, I think it's our time we start giving our grassroots homemade coach opportunity, to prove themselves to the world that they are the best at what they do. Look at the likes of Senegal. They won AFCON with a local coach. I'll use the word local coach because they see African coaches as local coach. And look at the former coach of Egypt. They won African Cup of Nations as well with what? The local coach.
So this concluded on Ivory Coast too.
Even Ivory Coast too
Yes.
won their AFCON with a local coach and former ex-international.
Yes.
Now going forward, I think it's our time we start giving our homemade coaches opportunity, especially those that have been in the system. Iguavon has been in the system. He has a lot of experience. Because experience is a kind of player that is a kind of coach that actually understand the ethics of Nigerian football. You understand the in and outs of Nigerian system, Nigerian football, and our way, and our kind of style of play.
Yeah.
Now, look at Iguavon record. You will see that he has not been doing well. Even the best coach in the whole world, like my mentor Guardiola, he lost 3 matches in a row. So losing just the last match shouldn't be an issue to Nigerians because we felt the last match that we won, it's already a win for us.
Yes.
And why are we stressing ourselves? We also need to also give other players opportunity. Now have it in mind that the weather is also another factor that affected this guy. Fatigue setting. You'll see that the likes of Lukman, the likes of Ola, these few guys picked some knock during training and they are so tired. So I think Nigeria should just give Iguavon this opportunity because he has always proven himself to be available whenever we need him. Yeah.
Okay, talking about him and then winning whenever we need him. The NFF have major concern around if he can be able to carry up with the major tasks ahead, not just qualifying. I'm talking about the World Cup now.
Now I tell you something, Iguavon can actually excel and he will definitely deliver. Have it in mind that he has 2 good Nigerian coaches that are assisting him. One from one from Rangers.
Okay.
Then the other coach, I think, is from Remo, if I'm not mistaken.
Remo Stars.
These 2 assistant coaches, and these are very good coaches. Technically and tactically, they are sound. So I think what the NFF should do is to see how they can still give these men more rooms, to work together, organize top friendly matches, so that this thing can have a blend before the World Cup qualifier and the World Cup.
Because most of the games now, because of how tight the schedule is for Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and the rest of them, they can, given the fact they can always come back. The home-based players are the ones that basically tend to play all of these matches. But now, it's been, like you rightly mentioned, blending and chemistry is very, very key because, at some point before we got to this stage, we witnessed how the Super Eagles were just, not really, really playing well as a team. So how key is it going to be now for a coach now to be able to, phantom this despite the tight schedule that these players have?
As an experienced coach, thank God we have big players that are doing well in their club side, and these are experienced players. These are not just minor players. These are top players playing top flight football. So I think we have to just manage at this point in time. This is not the time to experiment. We just have to manage the resources of what we have on ground, and there's what we call team spirit. Once that team spirit is there, I believe we'll go well.
Okay, talking about team spirit now and then still on coaches, let's move away from Osune Guava and the NFF and the Super Eagles. Ben Chilwell has not featured for Chelsea this season at all because Enzo Maresca don't really use him. But in all competition, aside the Premier League, he has always played 45 minutes since the season started. Why do you think, as a coach, why do you think coaches don't tend to use players that tend to do well before they came into place?
Maybe it's not match fit.
Okay.
So, for you to select your best 11, it has to happen from the training ground.
Okay.
If you are not giving your 100% at the training ground, then automatically you are not fit for a match.
Okay.
So I think everything is best known to the coach and the technical crew. no beef. I don't think there's any issue.
Because he's about going on loan now to Juventus. Do you think he can fit in Juventus?
Maybe he has not actually picked his form, and maybe the person playing his position is doing well.
Better.
So best is to push him out than sitting on the bench, because we all know Benchiro is a big player. So he should go to Juve and see and get more playing time.
Yeah, getting more playing time is another thing. So looking at your mentor now, who just renewed his contract with Manchester City for 2 years. I was talking about Pep Guardiola. How well do you think he's going to fit in or bounce back after these three defeats that came to the world as a shock?
Yeah, it will surely bounce back. You know, football is a game of win and lose. You can't win all matches, and sometimes when you lose, it's also an opportunity for you to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, where did I get it wrong? But I think Guardiola, that I know, that I've been following for decades, is someone that is going to, you know, I believe next transfer window, if he really want to sign, and if the board are ready to give him money to sign players, is one that is going to go for good midfielders, because if you look at the likes of De Bruyne, these guys are getting tired and getting weaker. And we also need to bring in, you know, some good. I'm not actually a Man City fan, but so far as my mentor is there, I always support him. Yeah. Right from his days at Barcelona.
Barcelona, yes.
I'm a Madrid fan, and if he's playing against Madrid, I don't support him. I prefer him to lose, but I still learn 1 or 2 things from him. So Guardiola, that I know, you understand the football, you understand modern football, you will get it right, he will bounce back.
Talking about bouncing back, I'm sure this weekend a lot of people will be putting their money on him and his team, so as to see if, you know, they would have something to smile
I will
about.
still advise people not to put money on him, because currently, let him win this week.
Let him win the first match as
because
well.
currently, now, you know, the strength of Guardiola lies in the midfield.
Yes, true.
If the midfield is not clicking, it becomes a problem. So let's just see what will happen.
Because from the last games, though they actually found it very hard to like control the midfield, because now they scored first, and then the moment these guys came back and then scored, somehow the midfield was just totally lost. But do you think people are understanding his style of play? That's why, you know, he suffered these 3 consecutive losses.
Oh, there are a lot of great coaches, tactically sound, that are in the Premier League. So sometimes when they understand your techniques and tactics, and before you know it, they are throwing you.
Everywhere will just bust negatively, just like he did with Manchester City. Talking about that now, you know, there will be a game. You know, Enzo Maresca was a former Leicester City coach, and now there will be a game between these two guys. What do you think Steve Cooper, who is the current coach of Leicester City, now what do you think he'll want to prove? And how do you think the Leicester City fans will welcome Enzo Maresca, given the fact that where he left them and then jumped camp to join Chelsea?
Any team that actually play Chelsea, you know, they're always giving their all, because Chelsea is not a minor team. The name alone, Chelsea, you are playing the team that has won the Champions League and Premier League. And I can't write off Leicester City. They are once the defending champions too as well. So I think it's going to be a win-win for Chelsea, but it's going to be a tough game.
It's actually going to be a win for Chelsea. Because I'm a Chelsea fan, obviously I'll definitely want Chelsea to win. But if Chelsea has actually, you know, seen a bit of struggles all through, you know, before they got into this this level. So now, looking at the way they are performing so far, we're hoping to see more and more advancements, more and more of them, you know, getting better. So let's talk a little bit about grassroots football, which is one of your majorities and what you focus more on. How, you know, support and then, you know, collaboration is very, very key. How has that been? The year is coming to an end. Are there competitions coming up for individuals and young kids to participate in?
Yeah, there are lots of competitions coming up, but for now, I'm not here to do adverts.
Or anybody
that want to come and do advert, they should come and come to the management and talk about, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so professionally, I think as a coach, you know, it's always good to organize grassroots for kids, because that's the only way they can always develop their skills and also to harness their potentials as well. So I think for now, we have about 2 tournaments to participate, like my team, Refined Nuggets, you know, so, but I won't mention and I won't do adverts.
Of course.
But as time goes on, when we win, I will let you know that we're the champion, or maybe we came second.
Or something. So. Yeah, well, that's actually great. But now, looking at the Nigerian football system now, you know, a whole lot, we have great talents. Great talents. Looking at even, you know, from the grassroots, I was talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League, talking about even the Women's League and all of that. I'm talking about every other sector, athleticism, basketball, and although the MBBF playoffs is actually ongoing now. Currently, there's Nigerian Basketball Federation League is ongoing now, and Rivers United, that's Rivers Hoopers, have been on fire. They've not lost any of their games, and they're hoping to get it to Bao by next season to represent in the African basketball tournament, Afro basketball tournament that will be coming up in Kigali, Rwanda by May next year. So looking at those angles now, grassroots is very, very key. So how would you say the Nigerian system now is working, and what can be done to develop sporting events in the country?
Now, sincerely speaking, this current NFF president, Guswa,
yes,
I don't know if I got the spelling right. He has been doing excellently well since he took over from Amoji Pinnick. This man believes more in grassroots. Sometimes you see him going to matches, and also I think Nigeria is beginning to get it right, because if you look at all sports now, we are always delivering.
Yeah.
Even if we are not meeting up, like coming out as first, you see us coming out as maybe runner-up and all of that. So far so good. The sports ministers and every other people in the sporting world, in the sports sector, they are all getting it right, and we just need to continue to like pray for them, and we also urge them to also bring in more funds to support the grassroots generally, not just football, not just basketball.
Yeah. Okay. There's something that has been all over the internet going on that I want to know your take. Rodri, I don't know if it's the Ballon d'Or that he won that made him say what he said, though, but he said that Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest of all time in terms of football, doesn't have natural talent. Do you agree with that?
You know, I won't actually blame Rodri. I can only blame people that awarded him the trophy, because to me, I don't think he deserved it. You understand? It's all past, and football is all about, there are politics in football now. Football is not what we used to be, what it used to be before. So for him, he has every month to run. Let him prove himself again next time.
That's just what I was about to say. Let him prove himself, because you're talking about someone that have gone to literally almost all the leagues, and going anywhere he breaks records, sets new one for the team and for himself. So I was just so perplexed. I don't know if it's a Messi factor, because you know at some point Rodri was like, Messi, I idolized Messi. Do you think it was the Messi factor that made him say that?
Yeah, I think the Messi factor, and you know, there's always a beef between Spanish players, especially with Real Madrid players.
Yes.
You know, so I think there is more to it.
If we're looking at that, there might be more to it, but for other people have argued that I think he like you rightly said, they blame it on those that give him the Ballon d'Or. But the person you are coming at is a 5-time winner of this award, and then has won the Champions League, literally has won every other cup, every league that he has played in.
And
so
there is something I also want you to understand. You know,
Yeah.
anything sports or entertainment, you know, sometimes there are people that, because of the love and likeness they have for you, they will actually vote for you, not because you deserve that. Take for instance, look at the Miss Universe. Our Nigerian girl, I don't know her name again. Chidema. I saw a video online.
Yes.
When they announced the winner, people didn't go to congratulate the winner. It was the runner-up that everyone liked, because they felt she deserved
it.
So sometimes it's all about politics, sometimes all about favorism. You know, maybe they just want to like favor Rodri against Vinicius. So that's it was a painful one though, but it is what it is. Football, keep pushing.
Football, you keep pushing. And then about Chidema, I'm guessing maybe it's because of what she went through from South Africa, and then maybe that's the reason why she fixed all of that. But congratulations to her. Congratulations to Rodri, but to me, that's his own opinion. But for me, I feel Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest footballer of all time. Then we'll talk about Pepe, then we talk about the great Maradona, God rest his soul, as well as Pepe, to God rest. Yeah. So Coach Raphael, celebrity coach, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Talk Sports.
And I'm very sorry for coming.
It's okay.
Activities too much.
Yes, it's the weekend. So this is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Talk Sport. We'll see you again tomorrow as we bring you live updates of what is actually going to be happening within the Premier League, La Liga, as well as every other league, and also basketball games that will be played this weekend. My name is Samuel Odi. From all of us, the crew members from Talk Sport and production team, and Coach Raphael here, we say thank you so much. See you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal!